They move it to Miller. JT Miller with a slap pass. Rebound off the outside and they score. It's Brock Lesnar.
D.K. Metcalf, he's got it. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Launches one. Deep left field and gone.
Curry slammed on the brakes. Oh my goodness. Curry.
Low, everyone. Welcome. Stop that, Joseph.
I don't know
Welcome
why.
back to
It
another-
just popped into my head.
Welcome back to another episode of Live for Sports. If you saw on YouTube, that Joseph was just doing the Riz face. I don't know. To start, I don't know. What
I
he
let
was
my
doing there.
intrusive thoughts win.
Joseph,
I am of the opinion that the Rizzler is hilarious.
he is hilarious.
I know. Somehow that's controversial. I don't find the other three morons funny, but the Rizzler funny.
The other three, what other three?
get
There's only
that.
two.
Okay, well, Big Justice, the dad, and I don't know, I guess the other side characters.
Okay. Anyways, how are we doing tonight? Wednesday night. Trade
Good.
deadline coming up.
Yeah, good. This is one of my favorite weeks of the year.
March.
Trade deadline day. Trade deadline.
That mean,
March. Spring
means-
training's going on.
March means baseball's back this month.
Yep. College basketball, if you're into that, which I'm not really.
Ooh,
But,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep, that's cool. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to do another bracket this year. So I'll have to get the old documentary guys back together, see if we do another bracket.
Yep. We can do that. Yep.
Yeah, gosh, March is fun. I like March. The weather's looking a little nicer.
Very nice today. Yeah.
Yep, real nice day. Playoff races are heating up, and there's some soccer coming back. Champions League, if you're into that. National teams are back in swing of things. MLS season has started. The Whitecaps look great.
Do they
So,
actually? Wow.
They're 2-0 start
that's
the year,
surprising.
which is
Didn't
incredibly
they,
rare.
Didn't they start like this last year?
They didn't go 2-0. They haven't gone 2-0 since like 2015.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually playing well too.
They're not going to do that well this year, are they? You were
Jesper
saying the
Sorensen, my
owner-
lord and savior.
Yeah, you were saying the new coach and the owner, blah blah blah.
Oh god. Well, the owner's a whole other ball game, but they have players that are good enough to win.
All right. Today's episode, though, going to go over the trades that have happened so far in the NHL and preview the deadline. Maybe give out a couple takes of where we think players might go. Who knows? We'll see. Then we'll go to continue on with the season predictions in the MLB, doing the NL Central today. Only two more divisions to go after that, and then we're like 3
it's
weeks
baseball
out from,
time.
4 weeks out from the regular 4 weeks. till
Well, I
the
think it
spring-
starts in April this year for some reason.
No, it's the 25th.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
quote me on that. It's like 28, like late to mid 20s. I'm pretty sure.
Who are the Jays starting up against this year? Is it Baltimore?
Yes. Yep.
Ah, God, we're gonna get swept in the season opener. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're thinking
But,
positive.
hey, we got Santander now. He can't kill us anymore.
Yeah, in theory.
Then we're gonna go to the NBA. We're gonna talk about the Mavericks again because fuck, it's a mess over there. And SGA, is he the MVP? I don't know. We'll talk
Could
about
be.
it. And then there was a lot of NFL stuff flying around, mainly today, but I guess in the past week we'll try and recap it a little bit. But anyways, should we just? I'll pull up the trade tracker, I guess, from the past week or so, and then we can discuss about each deal.
We can, and then we'll do some good old fashioned speculation.
Yeah. So I guess Gus Nyquist was the first deal that
Yeah.
we missed.
Yeah.
50% retained by the Predators to Minnesota for a 2026 second round pick.
Yeah. You know what was the craziest thing about this deal is? Gus Nyquist was with Minnesota a few years ago, and I totally forgot.
Yep.
I like that completely. Like, I remember he was in Columbus, and he found his way to Nashville. I totally forgot he was with Minnesota. So, Nyquist is a good little player. Middle six kind of guy. If he's on your first line, you're in a bit of trouble. He was on a shooting percentage bender last season. I think he had like 72 points, which he hadn't done since his early Detroit Red Wings days. So that's not really the player he is now. He hasn't been as bad as he is this year. Nashville's just there's something going on there. There's some kind of rot in that organization that just led to this horrible season. So he's probably somewhere in between where he was last year and how he is this year. I think he'd be a decent middle six contributor for the Wild. They have a little bit of familiarity with him. I know John Hines wasn't the coach when he was there, but him and Dean Evison have a pretty similar play style. With Kaprizov's health continuously in question, I think this is a good deal for Minnesota. You can never have too much depth come playoff time, and Minnesota, they're right in the thick of it, so they should make the playoffs without really any problems, barring a major collapse. The thing with Minnesota, it's gone underrated because they're kind of a medium-sized market. Their playoff futility is like worse than prime Toronto playoff futility.
Yeah.
They haven't won a playoff series in like 25 years.
Yep.
Well, I don't know
It's
if that's it's not good. Like it's terrible. In Minnesota, this may be controversial. I think it's the best state in America for hockey. I think the fans are the best in America. And it's too bad that that team can't really get out of its own way, because when Minnesota is really good, that place is rocking.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
the state is rocking, the Twin Cities. Minnesota high school is bigger than any high school hockey.
You see that tournament started up?
Yeah.
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 I saw all the video intros of them showing off the haircuts today for the first one this year.
It's
Yeah.
bigger than any high school hockey stuff, Canada, USA, anywhere else. It's huge.
High
So,
school hockey in Canada really isn't big at all.
no.
Like, because they just
I
go
didn't
junior.
I didn't know my high school had a hockey team until after I graduated.
Yeah, my team.
No, I don't
my
play
school
hockey.
didn't.
I never played hockey, but went just completely flew beneath my radar. But yeah, good deal. I mean, 2026 second rounder. That's a year away from now. Um, Nashville hoarding up some picks as they start their retool.
I do like it for the Wild because I feel like they had to make a move considering all the injuries they've had like sustained so far this year. Hartman's out right now still with a suspension, I believe. That's probably almost done-ish.
Yeah, because it got reduced.
Yeah. And then Kaprizov isn't playing right now, right? Or is he back
Nope.
again?
Nope, he's not back yet.
Eriksson Ek, I believe, is out now. So they do have injuries up front. They did kind of need to go make a move for somebody. But I like that they're not like fully going all in, because let's be real, they're playing Dallas in the first round. Do you really think they're going to beat them?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But maybe.
But
then
us 2026 second doesn't really do much, and they're probably going to be. They might even be better next year when they have like the Parise and Suter contracts like off the books.
Yes.
So they'll be spending. So we'll see.
But I think Kaprizov has 1, maybe 2 years left
I think
on his deal.
I think he's free agent after next year.
Yeah, so that's your window. I don't know that he wants to resign long term.
Mhm.
So part of me thinks they should be going further than just Gus Nyquist. Good player. But, if Rantanen is on the move again, I'd watch for Minnesota.
What
Cap space would be hard. They'd have to get a third-party broker.
No, they wouldn't even, because Carolina can just trade him at 25% retained, I guess it is.
Yeah, but is Carolina going to do that? Carolina's a weird team.
Anyways, next trade. Ryan Lindgren, Jimmy Vesey, and Hank Kempf to Colorado for Juuso Parssinen, Calvin DeHaan, a second-round pick this year and a fourth-round pick this year to the Rangers.
Okay.
I don't like it for
I don't really like it for anybody.
neither do I.
Has there ever been, relative to hype in the past 10, 12 years, a bigger disappointment than Jimmy Vesey? I'm serious.
Yeah, he was.
The hype he got out of college was insane. He was
Did he
more
come
hyped.
after Goudreau?
Yes.
Is that why? Do we
2016.
think? Is that why? Do we think? Because he won the Hobie Baker and like Goudreau had just won it, and they're just like, oh my god, it's gonna be the
No,
next
no, no.
Goudreau.
I think Kuchar was like 2013. VC was 2016.
Goudreau was 2014. I remember this for sure because I was at Goudreau's first game.
Okay, and he scored, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know VC was 16 because I remember it distinctly.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a prick to Nashville because Nashville was going to play him in the playoffs. They were going to sign him at the end of his college season. He's going to be part of the stretch run, and he was going to play in the playoffs. And that would have been 2016. That was not the year Nashville went to the finals. And really, the fact of the matter is he could have been a part of a playoff run, and who knows, maybe things go happy ever after with Jimmy Vesey. Jimmy Vesey has been passed around more than Brecky Hill when rents due.
I thought you were about to say more than Bonnie Blue.
Oh God, or Lily Phillips. Good Lord, they're poor parents. But alas, like Jimmy Vesey is like I'm happy that he's been a flop because of the way he acted. He was so arrogant coming out of college. I know there's a loophole where college free agents can choose whoever they want, but he refused to talk to Nashville. He only would talk to three teams. He shut other teams out. He was so arrogant about the whole process, and here he is 17 later. Congrats, you can't even break 30 points anymore. So see you later, Jimmy VC. Um, Slide into irrelevance. You know what's really funny about Jimmy VC? A little bit of trivia. He's the only player in history to be traded to the same team for the same compensation. You do you know what I'm referring to?
Um, ooh, because he's been traded to the
He's been
Rangers twice, hasn't he?
No,
Or is it Buffalo?
it is Buffalo.
Yeah, I
Because
remember.
Buffalo acquired his rights from Nashville once it was clear to Nashville that he wouldn't sign for a third round pick. Didn't end up signing with Buffalo either. Went to New York for a couple of years, and then he does his 3 years in New York or whatever. Then Buffalo acquires him again for a third round pick. So he was traded for the same compensation by the same team twice, and he spent 1 year in Buffalo and was shit.
Mhm.
So, and now he's
Well,
just being passed
everyone who
around.
goes to Buffalo is shit, apparently.
Not Tage Thompson.
Yeah, that's true. The big one so far, I would say, Seth Jones to Florida, along with a fourth next year for Spencer Knight and a conditional first next year. The condition is if the Panthers want to trade the 2026 first round pick, they're allowed to, and then that pick would slide to 2027 instead. And Chicago is retaining $2.5 million of Jones's $9.5 million cap hit for the next 5 seasons after this, I believe it was. Hefty, but I'll say this. I didn't like this at first for Florida. I'm like, what the fuck are they? What in the Blackhawks like fleece? Like, what's going on? And then I look back at it more and I'm like, I can understand this from Florida's perspective. I kind of like it more. I don't know if that's just you or what your thoughts on it, but
So this is how I view this trade. This is a short-term win for Florida, but it'll be a long-term win for Chicago.
I agree. Yeah, yeah.
Seth Jones is better than people give him credit for. That Blackhawks team is rancid bad. It's one of the worst teams, like Colorado 2016-17, Buffalo any year in the early 2010s, the McDavid tank team. That team is terrible. There is nothing like Seth Jones and Alex Vlasic are the only two defensemen that are even like close to NHLers. Like that team is ass. So he's been made look way worse by the team that's around him. Seth Jones is still a real good second pairing defenseman. He's not a $9.5 million guy. He'll do much better as a $7 million guy playing in a legitimate defensive structure with a legitimate coach in Paul Maurice. I mean, I thought Oliver Ekman-Larsson was cooked for the rest of the time, and then he went to Florida and resurrected his career. Gustav Forsling was nothing, and now he's great in Florida. So I think for a year or two, Seth Jones is going to do well there, and then his body will begin to break down as he gets older because of the style he plays. Now, Spencer Knight. Goalies are voodoo, so we don't know. But he just had a spectacular debut with Chicago the other day, stopping like 44 or 45 in a win.
I think
So,
yeah.
and they don't really have any goaltenders in the pipeline. Chicago, they have Arvid Soderblom, but he got lit up last season. So they needed a goalie of the future, and they got one. So the question is now, can they trade Donato, Foligno, maybe
He
some of the
signed.
other?
He signed.
God, I mean, if you're Nick Foligno, what are you doing there?
Well,
I mean,
he's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
He's your captain. You're really going to trade him when he's got multiple years left?
They're
And he
going to
doesn't
give it to
request out?
they're going to give it to Bedard in the next season or two. Um, it's just kind of a weird deal. I think Florida does well in the first part. Um, Seth Jones gets $7 million tax free, so good for him. The rich get richer, and Florida's a real good team.
Yeah. I do. At first, I was just like, why are we like, what's Florida doing here? You're trading your goalie of the future Knight because Bob is a free agent after next year, and honestly, Bob hasn't looked that good this year.
Yeah, but he never does, and then he just does out of nowhere.
Yeah, he'll turn up randomly eventually, but obviously they're in win now mode. I don't care about the picks really, dude. Like it's gonna be late 20s at best. So, in that regard, but I was just like, why are we trading for like Seth Jones? Like, what's going on here? And then it did hit me more. He's probably gonna play like second pair there until Ekblad leaves, if he leaves in free agency, and that's another thing. He might be Ekblad, his replacement. And then it's likely now that either one or both of Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad will not be back with the Panthers next year. I think that's fair to say.
Ekblad's a weird player because he's not the scorer he used to be, but he's better defensively than he was, but he's always injured.
Yes. Yeah.
So when he plays, he's great. Just doesn't play very much.
Mm-hmm. We have arrived at yesterday now. The Oilers, your Oilers, Joseph, let's say. Oh, he doesn't like it. Oh, he doesn't like it.
No. I don't mind it.
Okay.
They're just pissing me off, the Oilers, is my point.
Okay. Trent Frederick, Max Jones, and Peter Hauser to the Oilers. For Max Wanner.
It's because he's German. It's a V.
Vonner. A second this year and a fourth next year to the Bruins, and Shane LaChance to the Devils as they pay 50% of his salary.
So LaChance wasn't signing with the Oilers. He's a college guy, so you get rid of him. You make him part of a package or whatever, no problem. I don't mind this. Trent Frederick's a playoff style guy who will fit in well on the fourth line. Kasperi Kapanen's done essentially nothing of late, and Corey Perry's old as hell, so it's good to get more depth. Maybe Max Jones could be a bang and crash guy. I noticed that the Oilers are 32nd in the league in hits, and they're an old team, so they get a little bit younger, they get a little bit faster. This is good. This is fine. I don't care about a fourth round pick. Max Vonner's got like third pair potential. He's a right shot, so maybe teams will salivate over that like they do with every other right shot, but he could have been something in 2 or 3 years. Oilers don't care about 2 or 3 years. They care about this year. So that part is fine. If this is all Stan Bowman does, I am going to kill myself. I watched that Anaheim game yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
I saw Leon Draisaitl score a nice goal on the power play off of a great feed from Connor McDavid. I'm like, hell yeah, we're winning 6-0. Although Lucas Dostal is like a fucking genius against like 3 teams and then gets lit up by everybody else. So, and then Calvin Pickard, the first goal, that was just some shitty ass defense. You know, sometimes that happens, as my Ottawa Senators just scored. Josh Norris. First goals, you blame defense. Nurse lost his man. Draisaitl with a giveaway. And then 4 softies on Pickard. 3 softies. And then they pull him for Skinner. Soft. All those goals were soft. They bring in Skinner. Soft. Every high danger chance against these 2 goaltenders goes in. Please, Stan. Please. Give me a decent goalie. It can be John Gibson. It can be...
I don't really think John Gibson is an upgrade over Skinner right now.
I fucking assure you he is.
I really don't.
Because he can save high danger chances. Oh my god. At least get him in as a backup. At least you have a tandem, because you can't keep going with Calvin Pickard. He's a nice story. He's resurrected his career. No more.
I kind of think they
can't
need
do
a
it.
D-man more. It makes
if
more sense, and it's
only-
easier to go get.
Only if they're willing to admit that John Klingberg was a mistake, which I don't think they're going to.
Was he been bad? I haven't actually.
He's been extremely mid.
Was he just normal Klingberg, like terrible
Yeah,
defensively,
well, he's-
all right
he's-
puck mover?
He's been okay offensively and his usual self defensively.
Gotcha.
And he's playing beside Darnell Nurse, who needs somebody to be mistake free.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, like, I don't know what they were really expecting. So,
Quick little question back to your Oilers 32nd in the league in hits thing. Where are the Canucks on that? Where does Kiefer
I don't know.
Sherwood, like bump them
well,
up to?
I know Sherwood's number 1 by a country mile.
Yeah.
I mean, God, they dump the puck in so much. They have to be pretty far up. Also, that's such a misleading stat, being last in hits. You know what you're doing when you're hitting when you're not hitting people? It means you have the puck, and having the puck's a good thing. Last time I checked.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I like having the puck personally. So, little misleading. They do need to get faster though. I can accept not matching Broberg, not matching Holloway. Holy fucking shit, Bowman, you stupid ass.
Well, that was my point is, if this is their only move and they're using the compensation that they got from Broberg to go get UFA Trent Frederick. Yeah.
And Max Jones.
Whoop-de-doo. Like I
Frederick's
do
a good player.
I
He
like
scored
it
18 goals last year.
in a vacuum for the Oilers, but if this is like their only move and they're using that compensation to go get him, it's like you could have done this better.
They win the Stanley Cup and Frederick has a goal and an assist in the playoff run. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But you know, there has to be more.
Mhm.
I would like one more winger if you got time, a defenseman, please. It can be a flyer on a goalie. It can be a reflipped Vitek Vanacek if it has to be. Like, please, God, or Anton Forsberg. Like, just give me somebody. Just give me a warm body to compete with Skinner, please.
Did
Please. The team has lost faith in their goaltending.
you must have missed that Vanacek's already dealt and off the market because he's
I know.
in Florida.
I know, but I'm just maybe he'll be reflipped or something. I don't know.
He's their backup. Sorry.
Or Peter Mrazek. Or oh God,
He could, yeah,
please,
okay.
I don't think I could do Peter Mrazek. I don't think my heart could take it.
Like,
my heart can't take Peter Mrazek hockey. He's so busy in net. You know who I want? You know who I want? The Oilers to acquire for goaltending? It's not going to happen, and the money will never work, and it could blow up in their faces. I want Jordan Binnington.
Yep, I've heard that one get floated around.
The Blues are on a hot streak, so they're not trading him. Or hey, give me Joel Hofer. That would be cool.
Where did I was thinking Hofer was Huso, but never mind. Yeah, Vanacek to Panthers for Patrick Giles.
I've literally never heard of Patrick Giles in my life.
Neither Panthers just get their backup goalie. Sharks get off the contract. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Vincent Desharnais, our boy, got dealt again today. He got traded to San Jose, poor guy, for a 5th-round pick in 2028. Pittsburgh really must have faded him. Holy shit.
I just think he was just a warm body to include for the money in the Pettersson deal. And that was just a clear admission by the Canucks that it did not work with him, and now he's a journeyman.
I thought you were saying Pettersson deal isn't like Elias Pettersson. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Marcus Pettersson.
Yeah, I know.
Are you dense? Okay.
It hit me for a second after. Dude, we got so many, it's tough to keep track.
Yeah, it's true. Vincent Desharnais, he's got 3 things going for him, and 2 of them is that he's big and a right shot. And that's 2 things that'll never change. As long as he can skate at a not terrible level, there are going to be teams that want to sign him.
What's the third thing?
I don't know. He's mean and physical.
All right, and then the big one today, and then we'll get to the ones that have broken as we were recording. Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Lightning, along with Kyle Lecoin and a 5th-round pick next year. In exchange, the Kraken get 2 conditional firsts in 2026 and 2027. They're both top 10 protected, so if they're in the top 10, they slide back a year.
Yeah.
A 2nd-round pick this year. Michael Esimont, I believe is how you say it.
Esimont.
Yeah. And the Red Wings broker 50% of Gourde's contract at $2.58 million. They pick up a 4th-round pick conditional this year. I don't know what the condition is on it. It doesn't say.
4th-round pick, who cares?
Yeah.
The conditions can't matter that much.
I'll quickly go on my I really like this for the Lightning, and it's steep, but who the fuck cares if you're the Lightning with the picks?
It's your window.
Yeah. I really like this. They're giving me 2021 Tampa 5 skin. Their depth is getting there. I think they might be picking up a right shot D-man away from being a legit contender again.
Sorry, you just mentioned right shot D-man.
Yeah, maybe they should go get Vincent Desharnais.
Oh God. Would you like a lightly used Travis Hamonic?
And for the Kraken, I think it's a pretty tidy business. You get 2 firsts and a 2nd. Gourde's not resigning. Bjorkstrand has a year of control still, but may as well sell your value high now. Let the young guys play more. They got, I know he's a winger, but Wright needs more ice time. They'll have not Beckett Seneca. Barkley Catton.
Right. Yeah.
That they drafted this year.
World Junior legend.
Yeah. So I do like it for both sides. I do.
Yeah, so do I. I like these kind of moves by contenders who are just you know what? Fuck them picks. We're going in. They're an old team. They're getting pretty old. So Vasilevsky's getting a little older for a goalie. Point and Hagel are young, but McDonough's getting old. Hedman's getting old. Kucherov is getting up there. This is it. This is their chance to see if they can get a 3rd cup in 5 years or whatever it's been. So, go for it. I like that. They have familiarity with Gourde. He's not the same Gourde he used to be. So people need to tone down some of their expectations. But he's still a good 3rd liner. And Bjorkstrand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's good too. So gonna sneeze, so give me a minute. I'm no longer gonna sneeze. But yeah, so good for them to go all in. Seattle waving the white flag. That's the right decision. They're not making the playoffs. They still got to look in the future. Ron Francis, I think, needs another year or two to get that team back to where,
Ooh.
back to the promised land, so to speak. Not every expansion team is going to be Vegas. Vegas irreparably screwed up our expectations for expansion teams. Seattle had their 1 year where they made the playoffs, won a round. Excelente. That was a blip. That is not the norm. They need some time because they got a pretty bright future. They got Shane Wright, who's really good. He's been really good the past few months. It's like he just needed time. He was one of those players you like to mention that got screwed over by COVID in their development.
Yeah.
Riker Evans is real good. Matty Beniers is going to be a real good second line center for the future. And they looks like they found a goalie in Joey Decord. So bright future. I like this for both teams.
I I think Seattle has a bright future, but at the same time, man, some of those contracts that he's handed out are bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the Montour
that's the
one,
thing.
I'm fine with, but Stevenson was bad.
Oh,
Grubauer,
that's
bad. There was another one I'm pretty sure that I'm missing.
well, I guess Jaden Schwartz.
No, not him.
That's
Maybe
not
I'm-
a good one either.
Maybe I'm.
Schwartz was there. Bjorkstrand was one. Burakovsky. Like a few of them just haven't worked. So like Ron Francis is really good at drafting, but he can't sign a free agent to save his life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same in Carolina.
Yeah, solid move for both sides. And then the one that just happened as we were, or just before we started recording, was Tommy Novak and Luke Shen to Pittsburgh in exchange for Michael Bunting and a 2026 fourth round pick. What a weird trade.
one.
We talked about this off air very briefly, and we're just like, what the fuck is this? This is weird.
It just doesn't make any sense. The only way it makes sense for me is if Shen and Novak get flipped in the next day or two before the deadline.
I could
because
see
because Shen is old and he has no place on that Penguins team, and people like it's what a flip in Luke Shen's career from being derided as a bust to being such a valuable commodity every trade deadline. I gotta think he gets traded. He serves no purpose on that Penguins team because him and Vincent Desharnais are basically the same player. Like if you want a Luke Shen, just keep Vincent Desharnais. They do the same thing essentially. Shen's a little better and he's a little more expensive, but I mean it's weird. And Tommy Novak's like a genuinely good player who's just been screwed over by Predators voodoo this year. So
Novak, I want to say is like a pending UFA, but he's like early, like he's 26 or 27, like he's still young-ish. So I could
he's
see,
one of those Group 4 free agents or something like that.
I could see Pittsburgh wanting to keep him around, honestly.
I mean, their window is so far away. I mean, I know they don't want to be absolute ass in the last few years of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, but I don't think Tommy Novak moves the needle very much for a team like them.
I don't know. And Bunting, I guess I don't know what he's been like this year, but like when he came over last year, he was good for them.
So he started really, really, really slowly. Like he was getting healthy scratched at the beginning. And then he turned it on a bit, and then it's been kind of mid since then. Surprising because Kyle Dubas loves Michael Bunting.
Yeah.
He's acquired him twice. So a little surprising that they'd get rid of him. I guess Bunting's 3-year deal with Carolina didn't really work out after all because he's been traded twice, 2 years into it. So just kind of a tweener player, like very overrated. I think Michael Bunting's one of the most overrated players in the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
He owes Marner and Matthews a lot of money for helping his PR. So
Yep. Rest of deadline predictions. You got any like picks of where you think people are going to go?
So I think Pius Suter is going to get traded to Dallas. I think that's a good fit.
Okay.
I don't.
I think he's going to get traded. I just don't know if it's going to be Dallas based off somebody jumped on and nobody else did.
I'd like a second for him. That would be lovely. Maybe a prospect as well. You're not getting a first. That'd be nice.
I do.
Well, unless Jim Benning got hired by another team, I don't think they're going, or Pierre Dorion.
I don't think he's worth a first either. But like, holy shit, what are these prices people are going for? Like the Gord and Bjorkstrand, like 2 firsts. I could see like Bjorkstrand getting a first, right?
Bjorkstrand isn't even good anymore, man. Like he's nothing special. I mean, like it is a seller's market for sure.
He's got a year left on his skill though. That's why he's first.
Well, the thing is, it's a seller's market And we have reports that Francesco Aquilini is meddling with the
Yeah,
with
that's
Rutherford
another
and
thing. Well,
Alvin.
I'm getting into that later. Let
Okay,
move. Yeah.
fine. I'll let that fester a little bit. But like, what else? I think Scott Lawton will be moved for a first. I really like Scott Lawton. I remember watching him on the World Juniors so long ago. God, I'm ancient. But um, I remember him on the Canadian World Juniors team. He was a really good two-way forward in the National Hockey League and help a lot of teams out. I know the Leafs want him and Ristolainen. What a turnaround for Rasmus Ristolainen because he was hated by every single analytic person of all time, and now they actually like him because Tortorella doesn't play him in minutes that he can't handle. So I could see that happening. Hoping Edmonton gets a goalie. God, but I just don't know. I mean, this is kind of a weird trade deadline where there's not a lot of great rentals to be had. Taylor Hall's already moved. There just isn't much out there. So we'll have to see.
All the rentals are kind of like on teams who still think they can like make the
Well,
playoffs.
because the West is so open.
Yeah.
The
That
East
last
is
spot.
kind of well, the East is too a little bit. And the Eastern wild card, like there's so many teams still in it. This is why I never want there to be a play-in tournament or expanded playoffs. It's got to mean something making the playoff. There's too many teams thinking they can make it. We need a good trade deadline because if there's expanded playoffs or a play-in, too many teams think they have a chance and they won't be selling. So let's just keep it the way it is.
Um, I think Lawton is going to go to Washington. That's my kind of take.
That's interesting.
I don't think they want to add big, but I think they want to add depth, and I think he could be a very fine third line center for them.
Yep. Okay.
I do think Pius Suter will get moved. I don't think Besser is going to get moved, even though I want him to.
Man, I mean, delusion.
I'll get to the
mean,
Canucks in a
God.
sec. Actually, I'll come back to them. I think my hot take for the trade deadline. I think Rantanen's getting dealt again,
Yep.
and I think he's going to New Jersey.
Yeah, because Hughes is on LTIR. They have a lot
Yeah.
of money.
I think they might. I think they might make a move.
Until about a day or two ago, I thought Ranson was staying put. Clearly, something's off there. Because Tom Dundon gets very involved in his contract negotiations, and clearly Ranson had said something that pissed him off. So I don't know. I could see him getting moved. Mentioned Minnesota earlier. Maybe the Rangers want to make a splash. I mean, it's or further splash after Miller. Like, who could it really be?
Really, anyone, because like Carolina can retain again, and then they could get him at like $2.1 million. I think it was.
That's so weird because Carolina, they're good at everything except for scoring. They need a player like Rantanen.
They should
So,
just.
I don't know.
They should. I mean, honestly, they should just be like, "Okay,
I think they're afraid of getting Genseled like they were last year,
yeah,
where they get caught with their pants. Because I think they thought Gensel was going to stay.
Yeah.
I heard that they got to his money, but it was too late, and he'd already decided on Tampa. So I think they're terrified of that happening again. I mean, I don't know, man. Like you got to capitalize while you have a chance. Carolina's an excellent team, and Rantanen's a proven playoff performer.
Honestly, if I'm Carolina, I think just keep him, use him for the playoff run. If he doesn't re-sign, then that's
Trade his ass. Yeah, trade his ass for a conditional fifth.
Sure.
And call it a day.
Maybe then you go turn around and use the money to go sign Mitch Marner. Or offer.
I think Marner's going to stay in Toronto
I just
or
can't
go
see
to Chicago or something.
that. Yeah,
But I think
but like that's
Marner,
a good.
Marner
That's
would
like a
fit.
decent contingency plan, I would say.
Yeah, Marner is a good fit in Carolina because the media will leave him alone,
Okay.
which is something he struggles with. Besser?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this person anonymously. For their sake, but I had someone tell me today that Yanni
Obama?
Gord and Oliver Bjorkstrand are both better players than Brock Besser.
They're more well-rounded. I've soured
Besser's
on
really
Besser.
not as much of a defensive liability as people.
I know. I've soured on Besser this year, man. Was he a JT Miller merchant?
He's not a play driver. He does need someone on his
No,
line to drive
and
play.
he doesn't need to be. But he should be able to make it work with Elias Pettersson on the ice.
They're barely playing together.
I know. Like, why? Why are they not playing together at all? I realize Brock Besser is slower than Molten Lava, but come on, man. And that's also a thing that worries me. He is so slow.
Yeah.
Like, how is he going to age? That's why I can't justify giving him 8 years under any circumstances.
No, I agree.
You got to trade him.
But yeah,
Like,
somebody
honest
said
to
that to me,
God.
and I'm just like, are you? This guy scored 40 fucking goals last year.
I know, but
And he's
but
got more points in less career games than both of them. Like,
I'm of the opinion that last year just needs to be thrown out the window. We can't use it as comparisons. That was a shooting percentage bender that we'll never see again.
yeah,
And a save percentage. Like Brock Besser is a good 30 to 35 goal scorer who will probably end up with about 28 this season. Or maybe a little less because he's not playing that well this year. Under no circumstances can they keep Brock Besser in the organization. They can't, unless you are going to sign him to a 5 or 6 year deal at about $7.5–8 million. Yes, they might make the playoffs. I think you have a pretty good chance, believe it or not, because I think Calgary's going to fall off, and I think Utah can catch him really, and Anaheim won't.
St. Louis.
We'll see. Like those are really the main contenders. They're going to play Winnipeg, and they're going to get destroyed. Destroyed. Like that might be a sweep.
Unless we got hella fraud in the first
Dude,
round.
we can't score. Who's our best player right now? You can't use Quinn Hughes because he's injured.
Yeah.
Jake DeBrusk, who's the
probably-
streakiest player I've seen in my life.
Probably in that case, you have to say
Garland?
Garland. Yeah.
Garland, fantastic. He's 4'3", and he's kind of a play driver, but he's not a center, and he's kind of hot and cold. I'm not counting on Pettersson this year. This year's a wash. There's 20 games left. I'm not expecting him to get it back.
That's another thing with Pettersson. I will say I loved his media comment yesterday. His comments yesterday. And like,
Congrats, you did the bare minimum.
No,
I mean, yes.
It seems like he's turning a corner. It does.
Good, because he needs to take some accountability.
Yeah, and he was saying I don't know. The one thing I noticed too is like he seemed happy again almost. Like he hasn't seemed happy all year, has he? I don't think
No.
so. And he was
I
cracking
don't think
jokes
so
with the media. Like he cracked like 2 jokes in his media scrum about the media or whatever. I'm just like, this isn't like Pettersson like this year. What's going on?
I think he's finally been like, you know what? Let's just take a chill pill a little bit. I think he was in his own head.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm hopeful. He's got like 22 games probably to prove himself.
I'd be
wants to
thrilled if he could get 15 points in that time. Mid-teens. I'm not expecting point per game because he's got nobody around him, unless they add. But
Which
I mean,
they're not, because they're not going after.
God, please don't add. Please don't add. Please don't.
They're
add.
going after
Please
guys
don't
with
add.
term
Please
if they're adding.
I mean, like God, it's just. I thought the whole point of Jim Rutherford was that he could stand up to the owner and say
Yes. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So we hired Rutherford and Alvin. Was it been 3 years ago?
no. Yeah. Rutherford was like January 2023.
No, he was
22.
Wasn't
22.
Rutherford
'Cause Boudreaux,
2021? Like end
Boudreaux-
December.
Boudreaux was fired, or no, Boudreaux was brought in December 2021 when they fired Benning and Green.
Yeah,
He was
and
brought in before
and Rutherford was a couple days later. I remember.
a week maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
It was just fucking stupid in hindsight, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
We
So
all know how
and
that
then
worked.
he's been here like 3 years. Let's say.
Yeah.
3 or 4, whatever it's been.
3 and a bit.
And Aquilini, it seemed like he backed off. You know, he let them make their team and trade their players. He let Alvin and Rutherford do that for about 1.5 years. And apparently he's back meddling in the fucking business again because he wants playoff revenue and he's not letting us trade anyone.
Why does he need playoff revenue so badly? The Canucks are one of the biggest revenue drivers in the league. They sell out every game.
They're fucking
Oh,
them.
come on. That hasn't even really started yet. Although my grocery bill was ridiculous today. But what was my train of thought? They're one of the biggest revenue drivers in the league. He jacked up the prices $1 million. He's doing the same next year after this god awful season. You don't need 2 games that badly, Frankie. You just got 6 home playoff games last year. You're doing just fine. Let's chill out a little bit.
I got 7 last year.
Yeah. So what are we doing here? What games are we playing here? You are going to get destroyed in the playoffs if you try. You are going to get destroyed. And then we're back in the Benning years where the goal is just
Like
what is the goal? What is the goal here, Nathan? What is the organizational goal?
Should be to win a Stanley Cup, but with Francesco, it's make the playoffs.
It's not. It's make the playoffs,
yeah.
and then bang. Guess what? We like in Scooby Doo, we pull off the Jim Rutherford's mask, and bang, there's Jim Benning, because that was Jim Benning's whole MO: make the playoffs and see what happens. And they did it once, and congrats, you did well in the bubble when you got insane goaltending. And then it was shit for years, and it got so bad, and the incompetence was so staggering, they had to get rid of you. I mean, I'm willing now to lay off my betting infuriation because now I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what? How much control did he really have? Who was pushing the buttons? It's Aquilini.
Well,
He
yeah,
wants playoffs.
that was no. The reason why
I
betting was
know.
so stupid and so aggressive is because
Yes,
Aquilini was telling him to get in the playoffs.
I realize that. But Jim Rutherford's like 75 years old. He has 3 Stanley Cups, 2 with Pittsburgh, 1 with Carolina. Grow a set or resign. Because if you keep Besser and let him walk for nothing, like we did with Dan Hamhuis back in the day, different players, of course, but same principle, what's the direction of the team? What's the direction? We don't have one. Because last year the direction made sense. They brought some rentals in because they were having a once in a 25-year season shooting percentage wise, and they wanted to ride the wave. You won a playoff run, you won one series, good for you, and you were probably one decent goaltender away from beating Edmonton. It's in the past. Move on. Can't keep chasing last year. It's not going to happen again. Dakota Joshua, you paid him his 3 goals. Right? Like that, and I know there's some circumstances there. But I'll give Joshua a pass for this. That probably wasn't the best example
I'd almost
could
want to
use.
give him a bit of a.
Yeah,
He's looked better
he
of late. He's looked better of late.
He gets this year mulligan. Garland, hot start, done very little the past few months. Pius Suter, great. He's really should be a third liner. I mean, Jake DeBrusk, hot and cold. Holy crap, he thinks he's Katy Perry in 2011. I mean, God, don't believe he didn't get that joke. Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Sorry, I was looking at the Friedman just dropped an article about.
Yeah, I read that already. Okay, I'm gonna repeat my joke. If you don't get it, I'm literally gonna cry.
Okay.
Jake DeBrusk thinks he's Katy Perry in 2011. He's so hot and cold.
Because
You're hot in New York. There you go. There you go, Nathan. There you go. That was in like Just Dance 3, I remember.
Yeah.
And what else? Like Pedersen, well documented. Miller became such a cancer, they had to get rid of him. Besser's taken a step back. Hronek can't stay healthy, and he can't play with anyone other than Hughes, or else he's not productive. Hughes has been banged up. Myers has regressed. Soucy's in the doghouse. I'll be stunned if he sticks around because they hate him, which is so weird because they loved him last year. They tried Darnay, didn't work. They tried Forbert, didn't work. I mean,
that's another thing.
Demko is never going to be healthy again. I've closed the door on that. That's why they signed Lankinen.
That's another thing.
What are we trying to do here?
I want to say quickly. People were like, "Oh my God, JT Miller has more points than Elias Pettersson has shots." Okay, did the Canucks make the wrong move?
Well, time will tell. But they had
sure, time will tell. But
if you close
this Miller thing had to happen. It was done. It was done.
Yeah, if you cover your ears and block it all out and just look at hockey, yeah, you can have an argument they traded the wrong player.
Oh, 100%. I will 100% say that they traded the wrong guy if you look at only hockey.
Yeah, but if they were all robots just playing, or hockey playing robots with no personality, then yeah, sure. It got to a point where he could no longer be on the team.
Yes.
End of story. And JT Miller, he might be my favorite Canuck to watch of all time. Up there. Because I was kind of a lapsed Canuck fan for many years. He was so fun to watch. He could not remain as part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 32-year-old acting like a 40-year-old or a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But come on.
I have one last trade deadline take, and then I want to move on.
Okay.
I have a trade idea. Let's I'm gonna say Rickard Rakell gets traded from Pittsburgh. I believe he has like another 2 or 3 years after this, but he's playing really good this year. I believe.
I feel like he's a UFA.
Is he?
I'll check, but keep going.
Rickard, I need to check this for sure.
Rickard Rakell. What's your contract, pal?
He's in year 3 of 6.
Okay, well, continue. I was wrong.
I am sending him out west. I am sending him to the LA Kings for Brant Clark.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe 1 for 1. Maybe 1 for 1. I'm not sure. But I don't know why the Kings really want to give up on him. It sounds like they do.
For some reason, Jim Hiller hates him.
Yeah.
And he's like not even bad at anything. He's just, young guy. Not veteran, scary.
I do think they need a scorer, and I like the idea of they're interested on Besser. I could see them, I like Raquel, honestly, getting flipped there, but not at the expense of Brant Clark.
You know what that trade screams to me? Kevin Fiala for Brock Faber.
I was almost thinking you were going to say like Martin Erat for Philip Forsberg.
No, because Erat sucks. Or he sucked at that point. Raquel's still objectively a good player. I think, well, I mean, he's not as good as Fiala was, but I think Faber and Clark are a pretty good comparison.
Fair.
So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. I like Raquel a lot. I'd love for the Oilers to go after him, but they're too stupid and
They
narrow-minded.
don't need forwards. They
do.
need
They do.
a
They do.
goaltending.
They do.
And
They
need
do.
defense.
But Colson's been on the second line all season. They need one more winger.
They brought in Skinner and Arvidsson to do that. Well, they've been doing.
Well, Arvidsson is just such a weird player because he gets every look and he does everything right, and then he just misses by 5 feet. So, I mean, like, and then Skinner not blockades him. It's just not going to work. He'll be a scratch come playoff time.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. NL
My
Central.
official prediction is Besser stays. And
Yeah,
I will bang my head against the wall.
I think that's happening too, and I think he's probably going to walk in the offseason because I don't think
totally.
they're going to give him. I think he'll get 7 years on the open market.
Well,
and
yeah,
they
because
won't wanna give him
the
2.
Canucks, the only bargaining chip with him they have is they can offer him 8 years.
And
Which
they
they'd
don't.
be stupid to do.
They're not.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He wants to
I
stay.
could
It
see
sounds
him-
like so. If they can
Well,
work something out at 6
I think
years,
if,
then
I think if he's given the choice, he'll go to Minnesota. If there's a bidding war in the offseason, I
sounds
think
like he. Well, like based off the negotiations and what it sounded like, it's like he would leave like $10 million on the table to stay.
Yeah, maybe he
10 to
goes to
15
Chicago. It's pretty close to Minnesota.
I think he'll be Minnesota, to be honest. But
Okay.
NL Central, 5-1, same as always. Joseph, who's your?
Hold on. Let me get my depth charts because you can't spell depth chart without art. Okay. Oh, God, this is kind of a weird one. This is a weird division.
The Central,
honestly.
the Central divisions are just so mid.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say this is the definition of mid. I've never seen more mid than this mid right here. Like literally, there's like any of these teams could finish last. Literally every single one
Okay.
could, in theory, come in last as I scroll through here my projections. God, this sucks. Okay, I'm going to say, man, 'cause I had it written down, but now I'm waffling a little bit here. So I'm going to be a little controversial, I think, and I'm going to say the St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't hate it. They you know they didn't sign anyone to an MLB contract this offseason?
I've never been less invested in the MLB in my life. Well, in the past 10 years, I'll say. 15 years since I gained
But
sentience.
yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Though they didn't sign anybody to an MLB
I mean,
contract.
it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's weird because Cardinals, they're a middle-sized market. They're not small.
I'd call them like medium to big. Like,
And they're a team with history.
yeah,
Winning history. Not
they're
like
in like that,
not
like,
like
10 to 15 range of biggest franchise.
Yeah.
I would think, like market size.
I mean, just cheap ownership as per usual. Owners in the MLB, they have them as toys to show off.
Ooh,
yeah, I
look at
think
me, I own an MLB team.
Yeah, basically. I think Arenado eventually will find his way off the team. I mean, just looking at their lineup, I mean, their outfield is pretty ass. I'm not a big Jordan Walker guy. Michael Ciani, who? Lars Nootbaar's pretty good. Mason Wynn, I guess he's young. God, 2002, I'm so old. Arenado will be gone. Nolan Gorman's a swing and miss machine. Pedro Pajes is catcher. Wilson Contreras is a joke. This team kind of sucks in every way. So they don't really do anything well because they lost Goldschmidt and he was one of their better players, and they refused to spend any money. So I think there will be a fire sale at the deadline and they'll finish it last.
Okay. I'm still picking the Pirates to come last, personally. They also, I don't think, spent any MLB contracts. Or what was...
Well, McCutcheon technically.
No, actually they did. I forgot. Who was the... Didn't they sign their
I'll pull
first
it up.
multi-year contract? Or was that...
I'll pull it up because I do. It's his
We
name's
were
on the tip of my tongue.
We
I
were
can't-
talking about this, I feel like.
Yes. Hold
First
on.
one in like 10 years.
Was it a position player?
I want to say it was a pitcher.
Was it David Bednard, the closer?
No.
Was it Blue Jay legend Ryan Baracki?
No.
Was it Blue Jay legend Tim Mesa?
No.
Scanes, Keller, Jones, Falter, and was it Andrew Heaney?
I don't think so.
God, I can't like.
Who are their position players then?
Okay, Joey Bart, Henry Davis, Blue Jay legend Spencer Horwitz, Nick Gonzalez, K. Brian Hayes, Isaiah Connor Falefa, God. O'Neal Cruz, Tommy Pham, Brian Reynolds. God, who's their DH? McCutcheon.
No, okay.
I think it's Heaney.
Maybe it was. Maybe it's just they haven't done it since, and they didn't do anyone. But
God,
they're
there's about a
pitching. They're
0% chance Paul Skeens is a Pirate in 3 years.
oh yeah, they're pitching. Their top three, pretty gross. Skeens, Keller, and
Jared Jones.
yeah, pretty gross. Big three. After that, meh. Wholly a lot of washed up Blue Jays on this team.
Oh my God, Baraki, Meza, Horwitz isn't washed up. But
Well, yeah,
Connor Falefa I'll put in there.
yeah.
Well, because remember their GM is Ben Cherington, who worked for the Blue Jays
So we like
back
him.
in the day. So, God, they're such a joke, Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
They could be so good. I mean, it's not even like it's a tiny market. It's small, but the Steelers succeed every year. The Penguins were in the playoffs 17 straight years. I mean, it's just that Pittsburgh's a poster child of owners who just don't care. Don't try. The Pirates exist solely to turn a profit.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, I just don't love their team after their big three of pitching.
Like, why would anyone be a Pirate fan?
I'm
Besides
interested
living
to
in
see,
Pittsburgh and Paul Skeens.
interested to see O'Neal Cruz in the outfield this year.
Well, didn't he get suspended? Might be thinking of someone else. It's interesting because he should have been in right field years ago.
It could be like
Well, I guess he's going to play center, but
it could be like what Tatis is in San Diego, maybe. That's
yeah,
wishful
but he's
thinking.
6'7". I mean, like you gotta be a little cognizant of his health. Like 6'7" playing the infield was kind of ridiculous.
Mhm.
But yeah, all cuts to the chase, and I'll say I have them in 4th.
Yeah,
So
I have
just-
them going 73 and 89.
Okay, yeah, bad. I mean, there's a 0% chance they pay Paul Skeens when it's time. 0. There's
And
no precedent for it.
Even if they offer, I don't think Skeen's going to accept.
No, why would he? He could literally go anywhere. He's got Dodger written all over him.
He
I mean,
does.
it's just a sad state of affairs because Bob Nutting is so rich. That's the owner of the team. They have a passionate fan base. I would argue that PNC Park is the most beautiful in all of baseball. At least
It's
top
up there.
3.
It's up there.
That, Camden Yards, and whatever else floats your boat. I like Fenway.
Wrigley's iconic.
Yep, that's on my bucket list. I want to go to Wrigley. My uncle's actually doing that next year. But yes, I realize they're a small market. No one's asking for $300 million payroll, but these are teams. Why you need a cap floor to make the owners do more than the absolute bare minimum. It should be illegal not to sign a single MLB free agent all offseason. I'm not counting Andrew McCutcheon because the fans would have strung Bob Nutting up and killed him if they didn't re-sign him. So, I mean, like,
They signed Tommy Pham, didn't they?
Jesus, what is it?
Yeah,
2018?
Yeah, no,
Like, come on.
I'm just saying, like, is that
Tommy
they're
Pham on
really
this
they're?
I'm just looking to see if Tommy Pham's even here.
Didn't you just say that?
No,
I thought you
did I?
just
Oh
reading.
no, yeah. Okay, he is. I mean, but God, he's old. He's 37.
He's
He's
37.
turning 37.
Now. Wow.
He's turning 37 in a week.
Hmm.
March 8th. I
crazy.
mean, come on,
March
guys.
8th. That's
I mean, I
3
like.
days away.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Reynolds. I think Brian Reynolds is fantastic. But come on, he's like the only one they pay, and they got him at a crazy discount.
Yeah.
Like just a joke of a franchise. Everything that's wrong with current MLB team. We can shit on the Dodgers all they want. At least they, try. I'd rather have a league full of Dodgers than a league full of Pirates.
Oh, 100%.
As much as the Dodgers piss me off.
I'll cut to the chase, and I have the Cardinals in 4th as well. 77 and 85 for me.
Okay.
I feel like their young guys could do something, maybe, but still don't really love their team. Fire sale likely coming. Arenado will be gone eventually. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens by like June, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
What a fall off.
Ryan Helsley will probably be traded, I would think. Could they deal Contreras? I know he's on like year 3 of that contract.
He
but
can't field.
yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of money to pay for a DH.
we'll see. 3rd place.
Okay. For me,
Yeah.
I have the Chicago Cubs.
Hmm.
Actually, no, I don't. Sorry, I'm a little slow, as they say. I have the Reds.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the Cubs depth chart and got myself all screwed up. Yes, I have the Reds. The Reds are kind of like if the Pirates have a big brother. They're like the Pirates, but a little better. Small market, don't spend a lot of money, but they spend some money. They try a little bit. Like their rotation, Hunter Green and what's his name, Brady Singer. He's a good player. Like there's some good players here, legitimately. Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson. I'm a big Heimer Candelario fan. I wanted the Blue Jays to sign him a couple of years ago. Gavin Lux, Blue Jay legend Santiago Espinal. There's some good players here. I just don't think they're ready. I think they need another year or two, another big free agent. Thank God Blue Jay killer Austin Hayes isn't in the AL East anymore. But, some good pieces here, but until ownership decides they actually want to spend some legitimate money, they're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have the Brewers in third, going 82 and 80. I feel like I've predicted a Brewers fall off for like years now, and it just hasn't happened. And eventually, it's got to come true, right? You would think
You'd
it's
think so.
Got to be sometime soon.
That's a small market team that actually did as well.
Really,
They do it right.
yeah, they do. They trade their guys when they're right about to get due for contracts, and then and just cycle it through. But I just don't love them. Like eventually they got to fall off. I don't know. That's kind of my thing with them. Like, did they sign anyone this offseason?
God, I don't think so. I mean, let me look real quick because I might just. Nah, God, this is such a stupid ass division. A whole bunch of unserious teams.
Well,
Nestor
that's the thing.
Cortez.
Nobody wants to play in the Central, and they're not that big of markets.
Was
Did they
Cortez
sign?
a trade?
Huh?
Was Nestor Cortez a trade or was he a signing?
Trade for the Devin
Okay.
Williams. Devin
Aaron
Williams.
Savale. God. Jose Quintana, was he a trade?
No, that just happened. I believe he just signed.
Okay. Like looking at their position players, Hoskins, he missed all last year. I think Mark Canha might be a signing. But other than that, I mean, God, there's a lot of mid on these teams.
Mhm.
A lot of mid. Jackson Churio. I like Jackson Churio.
So do I.
Okay.
But fall off's got to happen eventually a little bit. No Devin Williams anymore.
Yeah.
This is the year I'm picking it again. Well, I picked it for numerous years, but 82 and 80 for me.
Holy mid. Yeah, I'm gonna have the Brewers in second.
I'll jump into that then. Now I have the Reds in second, 83 and 79.
Okay. Okay. I'm not ready to predict the downfall of the Brewers just yet. I think their pitching is still really solid. I like Freddie Peralta. Nestor Cortez has his moments. Aaron Savale, I like. Jose Quintana's had a bit of a late career renaissance. Who knows if Brandon Woodruff can ever get back to what he was? I think he had Tommy John surgery. Their bullpen's still really good. Trevor McGill, Blue Jay legend, Joel Payamps. Oh God, my 2021 PTSD is hitting me with that bullpen. But DL Hall, God, a pitcher named DL. I mean, I know it's called the IL now, but that just seems like bad karma. William Contreras is one of the best catchers in the league. I'm excited to see what Reese Hoskins will do now that he's healthy. Rod Black's son, Tyler Black, is part of that team. Mark Canha is pretty good. Bryce Terang. They don't have a shortstop. I think they have Joey Ortiz. Here's their
Another
guy.
thing, Los Adamas. Like,
Yeah, God, I wanted the Blue Jays to get Adames for so long, and they just didn't do it. Jackson Churio. I think this is big breakout year.
okay.
So I have them in second.
And then we both have the one seed as the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubbies. Basically by default. This division sucks.
Well, not necessarily, because I do like their Kyle Tucker acquisition.
Yes.
I think
And they have
that's going
some
to be a
pitchers.
very good move.
And their rotation's strong.
Yeah, who's their what? They still
Iman
got Amanda.
Gama, Steele, Jameson Tyone, Canadian, Matthew Boyd, Colin Rea.
That's good rotation.
Yeah, and they got Presley in the bullpen and Blue Jay legend. Oh my God, they have Pearson and Merriweather. I was so convinced that Merriweather was going to be a star. After that first series against the Yankees in 2021, I was like, oh my God. And then he was just on sticky stuff and then fell off, and they traded him super early.
Yeah, I have them going 87 and 75, though, winning this division by default.
Yeah. They need to start spending some money. There's no excuse for the Chicago Cubs to have a mid-tier payroll.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Like that ownership group is so cheap.
They better sign Kyle Tucker.
They killed their TV deal with their regional person and made it in-house because they were sick of paying money for TV money.
They better sign Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, like to hear Tom Ricketts, the owner of the Cubs, whine and moan about spending money when he's worth billions, and you play for the Cubs, which is a brand worth billions. Like outside of Yankees and Red Sox, I don't think I see any more hats, non-Blue Jays in the country at least than the Cubs.
I see a lot of Braves.
Yeah, that's just because they're good.
Yeah,
and people still have a thing for Anthopoulos.
Yankees,
Dodgers, Red Sox, and then I'd say it's Cubs probably.
Cubs and Braves is the top.
Yankees is just because they're cool.
And then Dodgers just like, LA.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that kind of concludes my thoughts on the Central. It's so mid. I wish the Blue Jays were in this division. They would have cleaned up the past few years, even though they were ass.
The Jays might win this division every year if they were in the Central.
I know. I hate the divisional format, but I don't know what you really do to change it. Quick thought on baseball. I read an article today by Mike Wilner. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a
yes,
Toronto. He's a Toronto.
I famously know
columnist.
who he is because he's always beefing with Gate 14.
He's okay. I'm gonna lose my mind, Nathan,
'Kay.
because he brought up another Alex Anthopoulos sob story. If people in this country can't get over Alex Anthopoulos by now, 10 years later, I'm going to become the Joker. It's been 10 years. He's gone. You did an article about, Anthopoulos would have signed Vladdy by now. Oh, he would have signed Bichette. We don't know that. When do you sign Vlad realistically? After his mediocre rookie year? After he showed up fat in 2020? After 2021 when he was the most expensive he's ever been? Let's cut the bullshit here. I mean, we don't know Anthopoulos would have signed him, and he's been gone for almost a decade. Can we please grow up with Alex Anthopoulos? We can dislike Shapiro and Atkins all you want. I dislike them plenty, especially Atkins. I can't continue with this Alex Anthopoulos discourse. He's gone. Please move on. We all love 2015. 2015 was my favorite year of baseball I've ever watched by a country mile. It's been 10 years. It's not like he won a World Series here. And
it's not like he's won a World Series since he left.
Yes, he has.
Oh, fuck.
Are you
right.
dense? You stupid ass. For our millions of listeners, he did win in 2021 with Atlanta, but he went to LA first. So it's not like he won in his first job. Let's all grow a set here, because we don't know that he would have done this. It's been 10 years. Please move on. There's much more legitimate things to complain about this organization without bringing up the ghost of Alex Anthopoulos. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't Canadian, we wouldn't give a shit.
Is he Canadian?
Yeah, he's from Montreal. I mean, he worked for the Expos briefly. Those trades, even those great trades, all the great memories, the Troy Tulowitzki trade didn't even work out that well. And then David Price left. So let's stop holding him up like he's some savior being.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So what should the Mavs do, Joseph? Because they're kind of cooked.
Fold the franchise.
Yeah,
trade the Toronto Raptors. God, they don't even have anything I want. Dorian Anthony Smith.
Anthony, he's not there.
I don't want Date. Yeah, that's right. I don't want Data Davis. I don't want street clothes.
Because
he's old too. That's another confounding thing. That's kind of old in NBA terms.
Oh, they're down 106-79 to the Bucks right now.
Well, I mean, their season's over, so what do they care? But I mean, I'd be devastated if I was a Mavs fan. At least they have a championship in the somewhat recent memory. I mean, although that was almost 15 years ago, so how recent was 2011?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nathan, 2011 wasn't so recent anymore. You can stop crying about the Stanley Cup.
Fuck off. I feel awful for the fans. So I'm going to go through their injuries tonight. Who's not playing?
Okay.
Kyrie Irving, left knee sprain / ACL tear.
Done for the year, right?
Yep. They signed Kai Jones. I forgot about this. He's not playing tonight with a left quad strain. PJ Washington has a right ankle sprain. Derek Lively is still recovering from his right ankle stress fracture. I believe he's probably a month away.
Yep.
Jaden Hardy is out for a while with a right ankle sprain. Dante Exum has a right foot contusion. Daniel Gafford has a right knee sprain. Anthony Davis has the groin strain. And this is Caleb Martin, I believe. Yeah, he has a right hip strain.
Woof.
They're running 8 guys on their team tonight. Oh my god.
Do you think if Nico Harrison knows this, he still makes a Doncic trade? Or do you think they had made their bed by then? They were trading him no matter what.
Maybe he would have waited till the offseason at that point.
Man, like they ruined what should have been 10 years of contention.
Yes, like
what's even the guarantee that Kyrie and AD are going to stay?
Well, so that's another thing. Kyrie is a player option at the end of this year.
Which
he
he's
might
going to decline.
Well,
unless his ACL is totally
maybe
fucked.
he opts in now because of the ACL tear to get his money.
Well, if he's going to be out for even like Kevin Durant opted out of his thing when he tore his Achilles when he was a Warrior, and he still got a big deal. So I don't know.
That was
also a while ago.
Yeah, it was like prime KD though, I guess. So this is kind of like maybe Kyrie's still really good. I don't want to call him exiting his prime.
I think he is. I don't think he can be a number one anymore.
I don't think he's ever really been a number one, to be honest.
I think late Cleveland he was a number one, playing a number two. That's why he wanted to leave. That's why he went to Boston, because he wanted to be number one. And I think Brooklyn Kyrie was pretty close to a number one.
I think he's just a high end too, if anything. He's always just been like had another guy around him.
Yeah, his personality makes it hard for you to, risk him being your number one.
Yeah. He might opt out and leave. I imagine he just leaves and goes to the Lakers. How funny that would be.
Oh my god. I mean, that would be a sideshow in every conceivable way.
And then Anthony Davis, there's a chance he doesn't come back and play this year. I don't
think he will.
I think there was like his camp was discussing maybe just like being like, okay, don't play the rest of the year, heal up. No point.
I don't think he will come back.
Yeah.
He's so injury prone. I just think they're really going to be like, you know what, screw it.
And then I saw somebody on like ESPN today saying they should trade AD in the offseason. Which would just be a catastrophic failure.
Do you give Nico Harrison that ability to do that? Do you let him do that?
I don't think.
Or are you just so neck deep into Schitt's Creek that you're like, fuck it, we've made our bed, now we got to sleep in it. I wouldn't let Nico Harrison near any major player personnel.
No, but like, yeah, it's just I feel terrible. Like, if I was a Mavs fan, I might actually. And there's this.
Let's cheer for the Stars.
This is that too, but this is another thing. They're increasing season ticket prices next year by 8%.
Every single contending team increases season ticket prices. That doesn't surprise me.
But like, you traded the guy everyone loves. But this 8% seems like a steep incline. Does not to me.
I mean, Aquilini's doing something similar.
Yeah, that's he's Aquilini. He always does it. This is like you trade your franchise player, the one everyone loves, the guy who wanted to stay here long term, was gonna sign, and now you're like, oh yeah, Nathan, whoop-de-doo, come cheer for us. We're upping our ticket prices though, and we don't have our superstar anymore.
But he was kind of fat, Nathan. He likes cigars.
The hookahs and what was and the beer apparently.
Yeah, God, jeez, he's 25 years old. I mean, alas, I mean, Dallas fans are pretty spoiled in general.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get too wound up about their loss. Go cheer for the Dallas Wings. I think that's a WNBA team.
Yep, you got that one right. Now I want to pull up the NBA MVP odds quickly.
Call the helpline. Call the helpline. I do think SGA has a real chance. Did he win last year? Or was that Jokic?
I
feel like he lost to Jokic last year.
Who?
SGA.
Lost to Jokic.
For MVP.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think SGA's got a real shot. Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
Mm-hmm. I think it should be him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find MVP, but for whatever reason it's not.
We can just discuss it. I mean,
sure.
like with the MVP, I think a real thing this year is how much Jokic fatigue is there going to be,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like he's won what,
Three
two?
of the past four.
Yeah, and the other one was Embiid, who's not going to win this year, obviously. Um, I think this is SGA's year to lose. He's having a crazy season. You want to know a hot take? Want to hear a hot take from me, Nathan?
Okay.
If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins an MVP this year, he's the greatest Canadian basketball player of all time. He surpasses Steve Nash
I think
and
I'd
Kelly
call.
Olynyk.
I think I'd call on track to be. I don't think I'd put
I
him.
think he is. He's better than Steve Nash ever was at his peak. Shea peak better than Nash peak at the
Okay.
very least.
I found the odds as of 5 days ago. The top five goes SGA at minus 550, so he's the favorite. Jokic at plus 350. Giannis at 100 to 1. Tatum at 250 to 1. And Karl Anthony Towns at 250 to 1.
Towns,
He's having a very good year.
I know he is, but he's not going to win. Yeah, I think Shea is going to win. The only way he doesn't is if the voters just don't watch OKC.
The MVP ladder that the NBA does every month or whatever has Jokic at 1 at the moment and SGA 2.
I think Jokic is going to get voter fatigued.
And honestly, you know who should nah, fuck it. I'll give him consideration, and I'm not even a fan of him.
Jonathan
LeBron.
Mogbo?
LeBron.
Did you totally miss my joke there?
Who'd you say?
Jonathan Mogbo.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown?
No, I think
Paul Shed?
LeBron deserves credit.
I mean, yes.
He's been
Yes.
excellent this past month.
Yes, he
And
has.
he's 40 fucking years old, and he's still a top.
Yes. Yes, he
15
deserves
player
consideration, but he won't win because he's
No,
not the most.
I
He's
think he
not
should
the
get
most.
but won't win.
He's not the most valuable player to his team. The Lakers are still good without him, I think. I think if without Shea, the Thunder is like a 5 seed.
Uh-oh, my trade offer just got canceled. I waited too long.
How sad. But yeah, I think I'm still Michael Jordan as number one, and I think I probably always will be, barring a big surprise. There will probably never be another LeBron.
There definitely won't.
Well, you never know. There could be.
I can't see anybody having this crazy of a longevity as him.
Yeah, LeBron's a 1 in a trillion genetic freak. We know this. It's a shame that people are so wound up about the GOAT conversation that we just can't appreciate it. On both sides, Jordan and LeBron. Let's just appreciate them as they are. Let's appreciate the consummate winner Michael Jordan was with his killer instinct ability and his freak athleticism. Really, at that point, there was never a Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. Magic and Bird were not the athletes that he was, and they didn't win at the level that he did. And now LeBron James, there's just never been anyone who's been as good for as long as he's been. There's no question that he's the most talented player to ever step on a court. And his farewell tour is going to be something else, man.
Hopefully he does one like that because he should.
The thing is with him, he always fake retires every year for the attention. So I hope he just commits to it. Because remember last year, he's like, "Oh, I only may have a few years left. I only may play for another year or two." And we're like, "Okay, LeBron, we all know you want to play with Bronny and maybe Bryce." So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Move to the.
God, if Ottawa can't beat Chicago, I'm going to go insane. It's 3-3 in the third.
Let's move to the NFL.
Hawk Tua? I haven't seen her in a long time.
Quickly, I'll try and go through. Franchise tags got placed on T. Higgins as one, and Trey Smith in Kansas City as the other.
I'm not going to pretend to know who Trey Smith is.
He's like all pro or Pro Bowler offensive line.
Offensive line? Okay, I mean,
interior offensive line.
I'm not going to pretend to know every good offensive lineman in the league, but T. Higgins, I mean, God, that's the second straight year they've done that. He can't be happy.
Yeah, we'll see. If they can't get a deal done, he's definitely getting traded.
Please just sign Chase. Please. Yeah. Just do it. For
For
all of our collective sanity.
Rams re-signed, or they agreed to a restructured deal with Stafford, ending the trade rumors that were going around.
That's good.
And they signed one of their O-linemen. 3 year, 57 million. Good, yeah. Didn't really make much sense to trade Stafford.
No.
Your window is kind of now,
Yeah. And he's
unless
still
you
good,
really love the quarterback class next year, and we're
which nobody
waiting for
does.
that next year,
Oh, next year. Yeah, yeah.
not this year, because this year nobody really likes.
Unless you're Deion Sanders.
Debo traded from the Niners to the Commanders for a fifth. This is a win-win for both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had to move off of Debo. He was a sideshow at
Yeah,
that point.
and he just injury prone, getting older.
Yeah,
You needed the
diva.
money.
I mean,
You needed
like-
the money cleared up. Actually like it for the Niners a lot, and for the Commanders, low risk. You have the money available.
Yep.
Why
you
not
get
do it?
you get a legitimate number 2 now behind McLaurin.
Yeah.
Which they needed. So we'll see.
Darius Slay got released by the Eagles. Save some money. Alex
wonder-
Kappa, the worst offensive guard in the league.
That's crazy.
From the
I mean,
Bengals got
because he
released?
was pretty hyped. I remember when he signed with the Bengals, they were like, finally, because I was after their Super Bowl run. Finally, because they signed him, Karras, and like Lael Collins, and they were like, finally, they have a legitimate offensive line. And then Karras is pretty good. Collins is long gone, and now Alex Kappa's been given the boot. So
Yeah.
back to the
Yes.
drawing board for them.
We're up to yesterday now. I'll go with the Seahawks here because they released Draymond Jones, George Fant, Rayshon Jenkins, and Roy Robertson Harris. Cleared up $28 million in cap space in the process. This is fine by me because they had, I believe, like -3 million in cap space coming into the offseason, so they needed to clear up. And Draymond Jones, kind of expendable. He was all right last year, but kind of expendable. They have other pieces on the D line they can use. George Fant was hurt majority of last year. Rayshon Jenkins was given the option to explore trade. Probably didn't get much interest. Just release him, is what it is. And then Roy Robertson Harris, I believe, is a special teams player. So is what it is.
Very quickly, Nathan Ovechkin just scored, so he's a little closer.
Fuck yeah. 10 away.
Yeah. I think so because he's at 32 now.
Yeah. He didn't score early in this game.
No, it's 2-2 in that game. But
Okay.
I mean, I want to see that when it happens. Like, just quickly, I'll do a Ovechkin quick, then you can continue. I'll reiterate my rules. It can't be on an empty net because I won't acknowledge it till he gets his next goal. It won't count for me.
Yeah.
Like if let's say he gets an empty net that never plays again, I won't acknowledge it. If he retires on the spot, it doesn't count.
He'll just be tied with Gretzky in your eyes.
And Gretzky, I don't give a shit about Gretzky anymore. So that's part of the dealio is I'm okay with it being broken, but it can't be on an empty net.
Eagles release James Bradbury. Makes sense. More cap space. I'll try and skip actually this. Jets released Devontae Adams. Makes sense to me. Too high of a
What
cap
a
hit.
joke.
He's just gonna
What
follow
a joke
Rodgers
those
again.
two were. Why? He could do. He's like he doesn't need Rodgers to be good. I know he's not what he was.
Oh,
but, I mean, doesn't
he
need
just
him.
wants to play with him. He loves him.
Rodgers is like 43.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? This isn't 2010. Or even
Saquon
2020.
Saquon got the biggest running back contract in history.
Good for him.
2-year, $41.2 million extension.
That's crazy that that's the biggest running back contract in history with all they're giving to quarterbacks.
And the Bears acquired Jonah Jackson from the Rams for a sixth, and then they followed it up this morning by trading for Joe Tooney from the Chiefs for a fourth.
As long as they don't play him at tackle.
Nope, I believe those are their two interior guards now.
Okay, good. Smart. Because he can't play tackle. We all saw that.
What?
Joe Tooney can't play tackle. He can be a perfectly good guard. He can't play tackle.
Yeah, they were just asking too much out of him.
Yeah.
But I really like this for the Bears. They needed one thing about the Lions. They love their O-line. That's how they built their team.
Yeah.
And Ben Johnson is now the head coach of the Bears. Makes sense to me. This one, no, we'll skip this till the end. Sam Hubbard retired today out of random. What the fuck, Joseph?
Sam Hubbard. Isn't he young?
He played 7 seasons.
New Orleans, right?
Nope, your Bengals.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other New Orleans guy that the Bengals got, Hendrickson. What the fuck? Football, you see that with football players retiring young. That sucks.
Yeah. Jags released Christian Kirk today. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Just injury prone, Band-Aid.
I really liked Christian Kirk a few years ago. I thought he was going to be so good in Jacksonville.
Eagles re-signed Zach Bond to a 3-year, $51 million deal. Really good deal. They need
He's
to
the
sign.
linebacker, right?
Yeah, he was
The one who picked off
Deep,
Mahomes.
defense player of the year finalist this year.
Right.
Um,
When's Cooper DeJean going to get signed?
he's still on his rookie
I
deal.
know.
Still
I know.
got plenty of time. And then Max Crosby signed a 3-year, $106.5 million extension with the Raiders. Now the highest paid non-quarterback in the league.
Nice. He can now go to Klein's meetings whenever he wants. He's a no-no. I remember he almost slipped up on the N-word a few years ago. It was kind of crazy. But he's like a total Southern redneck, all tatted up. Give me my truck, give me my beer, and let me play some football.
Yeah. People thought he might have got traded, and I'm just like, once I saw him at the Pete Carroll press conference, like to hire him, I'm just like,
Right.
he's not leaving.
No.
He's staying. I think good for him. He deserves it. So, and then here we go with the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett released. Had to be done. Sad to see. Love the guy, but had to be done.
It's a good story. What
Great
was he,
story.
like a 5th rounder or something?
3rd rounder.
Oh, okay. So it's still a nice story, but it's...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure his first touch of the football was a punt return touchdown for them.
Yeah, he was electric.
Yeah.
But he's kind of old and he's not all that fast anymore.
No, and they just needed the money elsewhere. And then the sad thing, well, not the sad thing. That was the sad thing. The disappointing thing is about half an hour, I think, after Lockett was released and they announced it, D.K. Metcalf had requested a trade from Seattle. And he now wants to go to a contender, apparently. I do think it's probably likely he gets traded, but I'm not ruling it out him coming back. I think this is a bit of a negotiation tactic because he only has 1 year on his deal left. That's been a thing. They want to sign him, or he wants a new deal. I could see Seattle just being like, we don't need to sign you with JSN now, kind of thing.
Right. We
could use the money elsewhere. Do I think they still want DK back? Absolutely. I wouldn't rule it out. This is just a negotiation tactic, though, because apparently it didn't sound like they were that close on extension talks.
Yes. It's an odd one because they won 10 games last year, but Geno Smith ain't a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I hate to break that to you.
No
So
shit.
maybe he wants. It could be a negotiation tactic. Maybe he's like, you know what, guys, if we don't upgrade, we're not a contending team for the Super Bowl right now. I'm in the prime of my career. I'm a physical freak. Send me somewhere where I can win a Super Bowl. That could be what it is.
Yeah.
Or it could be a negotiation tactic.
Uh-huh.
I mean-
I think it will probably be a trade.
Yeah. The sooner they move off of Geno, the better, I think.
Geno
just
will be their quarterback next year. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say.
If teams weren't so afraid of trading in division, I would want Stafford. But that obviously they extended him or they restructured his contract. But if teams weren't afraid of trading within division, I could have seen a fit there. But
I don't want Stafford. I'd rather get some young guy for the future.
Ooh.
That's
Trevor
that's,
Lawrence change of
No, like not even trade. I'd be okay with drafting. I just want somebody young who you can build around for the future.
Okay.
I just don't think it's worthwhile to go trade for a 37-year-old Matthew Stafford for 2 years when your roster maybe isn't even all there yet. There's still holes. Obviously they still need an O-line. They could use a couple pieces on defense still, even though I like where their defense is going.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna pick out so the rumor is the Packers. The reported offer, this was floating around last week, was the Packers were offering pick 23 in the draft and either Dontavian Wicks or Romeo Dobbs for Metcalf. And then I think there might have been
I like Dobbs.
a day 3 pick thrown in.
That'd be interesting. I like Dobbs.
I do like that package because I feel like if you go get another first round pick, you could afford to spend it on a quarterback then and develop one.
Yeah, I agree.
There's only three quarterbacks I want in this draft. That's the problem though. So I don't know if they'll all be there by then.
Even though I'm a certified Seahawk hater, the buzz in Vancouver is insane when they're good. So when they're really good, not just 10-8 is good or 10-7, whatever it is. So I'd like to see them be good again. Quick.
Um, I think the Chargers are going to be in the mix. They wanted him last offseason. Seahawks said no. Already got reported they're probably going to be back in on him, as they should be, because they kind of needed somebody to play on the outside next to McConkey.
McConkey. Lad McConkey, top 5 name all time.
Yep. I think the Chiefs will be interested. I don't know how they'll get it done necessarily. I could see the Bills. I could see the Patriots, but I don't know if he'd want to go there. I think the thing that's going to decide this thing though is who's going to give him the most money on a new contract. That's where he'll go.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing nowadays. Players want as much money as they can possibly get.
Pittsburgh could be an option too. Not gonna lie, but I don't know if he'd want to go there.
Pittsburgh still needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is Russell Wilson an upgrade on Geno Smith at this point?
Well, Russ is a free agent.
Well,
and it doesn't sound like he's coming back to Pittsburgh.
No, so they're going to rock with Fields.
No, Fields is also a free agent.
So why the hell would he go to Pittsburgh?
They might go after Sam Darnold, is what I'm hearing.
I think Darnold was in a perfect storm last year.
I agree.
I think that's
I think
Mike.
I think you can give Darnold a contract with not a lot of guaranteed money, so that you could get off his contract very easily the next year.
Yeah, maybe. But I can see a Mike Glennon situation happening, or a Case Keenum.
Yeah. But if you're the Seahawks, if you can get like a day 1 or an early day 2 pick for Metcalf, along with maybe a replacement level receiver, I actually kind of like that. You'd clear up money in the process too. And who knows? They haven't extended Geno yet. Maybe they're just building for the future. They're reshaping their offense. I like where their defense is going, and I like the direction it's headed.
And you like,
but maybe
McDonald's.
They're like shifting the offensive focus a little bit. Maybe they want to build. Joey Bosa just got released.
Yeah. The worst Bosa.
Maybe they're just like, what if we move off Metcalf? We moved off Lockett. We're gonna build around JSN as our receiver. Kenneth Walker and Sharp can be our 2-horse running back system, because apparently they want to run the ball heading into next year a lot more.
Run the ball.
Yeah, don't
run the ball.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
Maybe they're gonna go invest in the offensive line, spend some money on free agents, use draft capital. Maybe they'll look at getting a tight end, I could see, but maybe they kind of just run with like JSN and they go sign some vet to play on the other side and call it a day there.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe they use like a third or fourth on drafting a receiver. I could see them drafting somebody in like the second or third too, actually. But
yeah, so
I don't want them to draft a receiver early this year. I want it to be offensive line. That's my number one. I mean, and if I'm picking a number 2, it'd probably be on another defensive player.
Yep, it's just hard to say really with wide receivers, because you never really know when one's going to break out. Right, so maybe they're banking on a breakout season or an under the radar signing. You just never truly know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, sad day to be a Seahawks fan. Early March is not to be. Early March is a tough time to be a Seahawks fan, because it was almost this day 3 years ago when we traded Russ and then released Bobby Wagner.
I mean, God, Wilson wasn't even all that anymore. I know he's special to you Seahawk fans, but I mean, I didn't think he was any. I think I've said this before, but if Tony Romo would have thrown that pick, he would have been strung up in the streets and beat. But story for another time. Anything else NFL you want to talk about? Because I want to do one quick Whitecaps thing.
No, I got nothing left.
Okay. Whitecaps segment. They're good. Support this team, because you don't know how much longer they're going to be around. Because they don't have a stadium that they own. They don't have a practice facility that they own. And their ownership wants to sell. So Vancouver soccer fans, support this team, because this is the best they're going to be in a long time. Ryan Gold, Brian White, Ali Ahmed, Jaden Nelson, they're all in the prime of their careers. A lot of them are going to be sold off if the team if they can't find an ownership group. So enjoy them while they're here. This is the best the Whitecaps have been ever the past few years since they came to the MLS. They got a lot of good pieces with a lot of Andres Cubis is one of the better MLS midfielders there are. There are a lot of Canadian national team players if that's what you're into. Atakubi, Ahmed, Nelson, and the gang. Isaac Bamer is a good backup goaltender. I would watch out for him if you're following the national team. They just hired a new coach, Jesper Sorensen, who plays a more possession-based style, which the Whitecaps have never done in their entire MLS history. They've always been a counterattack thing. That's what Vanni Sartini preached. They kicked Portland's ass a few weeks ago, and they just won their second MLS game of the year against LA Galaxy, who are the defending champs. So go out and watch the Whitecaps, people, because you don't know what you got till it's gone.
And would you rather watch the Whitecaps, who might be good, or would you rather watch the Canucks, who you know is probably going to score 2 goals a game for the rest of the year?
Yeah, and you know what? Whitecaps tickets are pretty cheap. It's if you're in the downtown core, it's right there. It's right beside Rogers Arena, BC Place. It's a fun atmosphere. Get to watch some soccer. The World's game. World Cup's going to be here next year. It's only a year away. Year and a bit. I plan on going to one of those games. Not necessarily Canada, but I want to go to a World Cup game once in my life, and this is probably my only chance. So I'll be doing that. We should be supporting soccer in this city because it's growing. There's no sport in this country that is growing faster than soccer. No youth play any sport more than they play soccer. It's the number one amongst kids in this country.
It's cheap.
Partially because of how cheap it is, but also it's the world's most popular game. So and that includes like the CPL team, Vancouver FC. They play in Langley, so it's a little further for most people. But I went to a few games last year, and it's fun. It's fun. It's entertaining football. I mean, there's people think of it as a minor league. No, like that's not true. There's people that have played in the Mexican league that are there. There's people who have played on the national team that are there. They've beat Mexican teams in the CONCACAF Champions League. Cavalry FC, who plays in Calgary, that's a Calgary-based team. They just beat a Mexican team, Pumas, UNAM, in CONCACAF Champions Cup a couple weeks ago. It was actually in Langford.
Did they beat them in the on aggregate too? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I know they won at least.
I know they won the first leg.
Actually, no. I don't think they beat them on aggregate, but they won. They beat a Mexican team. That's huge. MLS teams rarely ever beat Mexican teams. And Cavalry, they just won the CPL Cup last year over Forge, which is Hamilton, who had won 3 straight. Like this is real legitimate football, and people should give it a chance. Soccer's grown in this country, whether people like it or not. I really hope the Whitecaps can find a legitimate local owner. I saw Tom Gagliardi, who owns the Dallas Stars on Donnie and Dolly today. He's from Vancouver. He could afford it because I don't think Ryan Reynolds is going to buy it. And Aquilini definitely won't. So support the Whitecaps while you can. They have a really good team. Toronto FC sucks, and CF Montreal is pretty mid as well. So we're the best team in Canada by far. Three straight Canadian championships.
Who's their goalie again? What's his name?
Yohei Takaoka. He's okay. He's incredibly average.
He's sick.
Yeah.
Anyways, that wrap up for this week?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Next week we'll break down the rest of the trade deadline. We will continue on with the MLB predictions. We are on to the East now. So we'll probably just shift back to the NL again. We stayed on NL this week, but we will do the Jays division last.
Okay.
We'll do that. We will go with the
quickly, Nathan, we have a few signings for the Utah Hockey Club. And one of them is one you'll cry about. They have extended Ian Cole, 1 year, $3 million, and Alex Kerfoot, 1 year, $3 million. A couple of good signings. Of course, I have to hear about Ian Cole every day in Vancouver now. Apparently, he's the best defenseman they've ever had.
Ian Cole or
Ian Cole? I mean, like God, like you think he's prime Bobby Orr the way some people talk about him here.
And then so we'll talk about the MLB, the NL East, which should be a fun division. Then we'll go over to the NBA, whatever pops up, kind of thing, same ordeal. And then MLB or NFL free agency, I believe, is sometime next week or the week after. It's going to be quick, and there'll be more stuff we can react to, like we did today. So we will do that. We got this far. Appreciate listening. We will catch you in the next episode. Peace out.
Farewell.